Putin also, whether it's fueled by the paranoia that you observe or whether it's an argument with his generals and his security people, but is said to be poised to switch from a special operation in Ukraine to war, quote, unquote. As a military man, Tim, what's the significance of that?
Well, from a Russian perspective, it means he can mobilize far more capability, far more fighting power, what we call fighting power. That's the stuff and the way that you conduct these operations. And we don't need to go over the past, but there's no doubt in my mind that they genuinely believe that they would have a relatively easy move into Ukraine as they've done elsewhere. Relatively easy. That hasn't happened. And he has got to put in more capacity, more capability. And by declaring it as a war, part of Russian military doctrine is a preparedness to use tactical nuclear weapons as part of the escalate to de-escalate. And, trying to push Putin out of Ukraine will only result in him putting more into ensuring that doesn't happen. And in my view, he might well be prepared to use tactical nuclear weapons. One of the problems is we have lost an understanding of what we used to call in the good old days, in inverted commas, during the Cold War, mutually assured destruction, strategic nuclear deterrence, and the escalation process that happened. The move through conventional fighting, through conducting operations in those days in Western Germany, to a preparedness to escalate into tactical and then more operational level and then strategic nuclear exchange. And an understanding of that doctrine on both sides, with lots of academics involved, with the military certainly involved, and indeed politicians, meant that Cold War ended in the way that it did, thankfully. Now, we need to be jolly careful that we don't end up with Putin having no alternative than to escalate, as I say.
The final question on that, a man you know very well, also retired General Mike Jackson on this programme, about a month ago said, I always believed that even tactical nuclear weapons would not be used in my lifetime. I'm no longer so sure.
Yeah, I know General Mike extremely well. I worked with him a lot over the years, including during the Balkans and Kosovo and so on. He's an extremely capable operator, and alongside General Rupert Smith, I think probably the best operators of my military generation. I work with both of them a lot. And Mike is right. And I am not saying for 1 minute that I approve of what Putin thinks or that I don't think we should be putting pressure on, as I say, to succeed in Ukraine. But understanding and defining what it is we hope to achieve, what is our intent, understanding Russia, understanding Putin. If we're not careful, this, as I say, megaphone diplomacy, a lack of statecraft, too much grandstanding and too many statements all competing with each other to say that we're going to give more than you, et cetera, is not going to help. We need to tone down this conversation. Otherwise, Mike, and I have to say myself, will be proven to be right. And God help us if we are.